I stood by the glass, lost in thought. A blurry figure appeared at the window across the way. I widened my eyes and looked closely. A man stood there staring straight at me. Fear was about to rush in when my husband suddenly called my name. I thought I was just too tired and had seen it wrong. Without thinking much, I went back to bed. The next morning, I sat on the couch and turned on the TV. A terrifying piece of news came into view. A murder had occurred in the building across the street. The victim was a young woman. My mind immediately flashed to the man who had been staring at me last night. I told my husband about it right away. He walked over to the window and took a look. There was nothing there. He said it was probably just a coincidence. I didn't want him to worry, so I said no more, but a shadow had already taken root in my heart. Walking down the street, I kept feeling like someone was behind me. I stopped and turned around. It was just a passerby. To relax myself, I went into a movie theater. Before I could even sit properly, a man entered behind me. My instincts told me he was following me. I slowly turned my head, trying to see his face. Afraid of being noticed, I only saw one of his shoes. He leaned forward toward me. The intense unease made it impossible to stay seated. I stood up and rushed out. After leaving the theater, I went into a supermarket. While picking out items, I noticed a man watching me from a distance. I thought he was just a passerby and walked away. Not long after, he appeared behind me again. I carefully turned my head. It was the exact same pair of shoes from the theater. I was certain he was following me. I immediately tried to leave. In my panic, I knocked over a glass bottle. The sound immediately caught his attention. I rushed into a nearby fire exit. Looking through the window, I saw him walking straight toward me. I froze in place, not knowing what to do. At that moment, a supermarket employee called out to me. They told me there was a back door on the side. I ran out without looking back. After returning home, I firmly told my husband I was being followed. He felt it sounded unbelievable. That night, he took me back to the supermarket. We asked the staff to pull up a security footage. On the screen, I was hiding in the fire exit. The man stood outside, staring in my direction. But my husband said he might have been looking somewhere else. I never dared to let my guard down. I took out my phone and took a photo of the man. After we got home, my husband was suddenly called in to work overtime. I was left alone in the house. Everything that happened during the day made it impossible to sleep. Fear pushed me to call my husband. I hoped he could come back early. What I got was a negative answer. After hanging up, I walked to the window. I wanted to confirm whether the man was still across the way. Seeing the opposite window closed, I let out a small breath of relief. Just as I was about to relax, someone knocked on the door.